If anybody's ever wondered what these cans look like all the way down, I guess they call them nuns. Here's one beached. Sorry for the noise in the background. That's what happens when you leave a Beagle on the boat, if you dare to go to shore without her. So, well, I made it to the Ohio River. This is the mile marker 980, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I mean, it looks probably pretty unceremonious, but that's the very tip right there. And then right around this corner is where the Ohio River starts or ends, depending on which way you're going. So here we are. Morning, guys. Well, it was bound to happen eventually. I got onto the Ohio River about 6 o'clock last night. It was getting dark, and I was so used to just coming across great places to anchor on the Mississippi and the Illinois. And I got onto the Ohio here, and it's just nothing but a straight line and muddy banks and a whole lot of nothing to get out of the way. So I anchored around that corner, probably about 2 miles down underneath a railroad trestle, and the wind shifted, and this is like 2 in the morning, and it put my outboard into the mud. Didn't hurt it, but I was up against the bank, and so in the middle of the night I pushed it off. I would recommend carrying a long pole and or a long gaff to do stuff like this. And then luckily it was almost a full moon and clear and not very cold, and the wind was at my back, so all those things were in my favor. And I came about 5 miles upstream. The first lock is up there in the distance. I can see at night. I could see it. All the lights were on, and I couldn't really tell what was, along the banks. I was just kind of squinting and trying to, watching the graph. And I finally said, "Well, I see this long, consistent 20-foot depth, and I'm going to drop both anchors and just take my chances." And so I found a tree right there to watch out the window, and I just kind of checked it like once an hour to make sure I wasn't slipping. And I just eventually trusted my anchors and made it through the night. So kind of a crazy night, but no harm done. And continuing on, looking forward to getting back on downstream in Tennessee. So that's where we're headed. Morning, everyone. So I wanted to show you where I ended up, and that is the right word for it. I am near Metropolis, Illinois, which is about 10 miles from the mouth of the Tennessee River. And I have been beating my way up the Ohio from the Mississippi for the past 2 days at about 3 miles an hour. I came in here after dark last night using this light, and I am so glad I had it. I don't think I would have made it without it, but I did see this creek on the chart. They're not always exactly right, and if you can't see, you can't just go by the chart. You'll run right into the 100 feet off of the mouth. And I had no idea how big or deep this was. I really just lucked out, or I was blessed, or both. But yeah, so if folks are going to do this trip in the future, just understand that the 50 miles or so that you're going to go from the Mississippi to the Tennessee, and a little farther if you're going to go to the Cumberland, you are not going to have a lot of places to stop. It's the Ohio, at least down this way. I mean, I know the Ohio is a big, long river, so that it's probably got a lot of, you know, different characteristics depending on where you're at on the 1,000 miles or so of it. But this particular section is just a big, muddy, straight ditch. There is on the Mississippi, there's all sorts of chutes and little inlets and creeks and rivers coming into it, and several times a day you come across all sorts of places to just anchor out. But on the Ohio here, it's just muddy banks, and you have to. Well, last night I had to just drop anchor on the side of the river, and it worked out okay. I should make a quick little video or segment about anchors and how you want to have more than one, and you want to have a couple good ones, or even 3 maybe. I've been reading some people's blogs where they have like 3 and 4. So, but excuse me, I just woke up and doing my best here without coffee. So I'm out of water. I'm pretty much out of food. Let me show you where I'm at. So this is this is the entire trip so far. You can see where I left, and let me just come down and show you. So yeah, like right over here is going to be the Tennessee pretty soon, about 10 miles. And I was just crawling along this Illinois side last night after dark, and I saw this, oh, let's see, Massac Creek. And yeah, it worked out. It's just wide enough. I dropped the anchor. There's no current here to speak of, so I didn't put a lot of scope on the anchor, because if I did, the boat would turn eventually and run into the bank. So and for some reason, I don't know why this is, but you know, boats like to always just turn sideways, whether you're drifting or anchored or whatever. It seems like they're always wanting to go perpendicular to the banks. But so I just found the widest spot I could last night in the dark, and it's about 10 feet in here, and the mouth is, you know, plenty deep. I think it was like 8 feet. So I've had raccoons coming down to the last night. I've had fish jumping all over the place. I don't know what they are. They don't look like carp to me. They might be something else. I had some deer come up to the bank and snort at me this morning. I had a beaver last night getting mad at me. He flapped his tail. Like, I almost ran him over. I slowed down. I'm like, you gotta move. And last second, he just dove and slapped his tail. So this has been a real natural spot here. Yet I am close to town. My phone's working fine. I have plenty of signal. And and I think there's a gas station like less than a mile away. And I'm gonna get the cans and go start making some runs. So that's what I've been doing. And I'll get to it. It's a crazy past couple days. The Ohio is a challenge. It's hard to get gas. Basically from St. Louis to here, you're hoofing it. I mean, there's hoppies, and hopefully your boat can go, you know, several hundred miles or whatever this was. I should figure it out before you gotta get gas again, because I mean, I was going slow and I was conserving gas, and I just barely made it. So I don't even think I can make this last 10 miles. I'm probably running out of gas right now. I'm down to the last gallon or two. So okay, I will catch up with you guys later. Okay, so I made it to the mouth of the Tennessee. Right around that corner is the Lock and Dam. This town is called Paducah, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. There's a courtesy dock here. There's a sailboat up there from Manistee, Michigan. And I just, I walked up to town and went to the nearest grocery store, which is really just this kind of, little neighborhood store that just opened up, and they didn't have much, but I bought a couple sandwiches, started talking to the owners, and they ended up giving me a ride out to Walmart. And that'll pretty much happen all the time on your trip. You shush. Because I'm not the world's most personable person or social person, and yet it's happening to me all the time. So if you're just a nice, friendly person that likes to meet people and is good at meeting people, you should be beating them off with a stick. Don't even worry about getting rides and stuff. People will offer all the time. So yeah, I went and got, oh man, nothing makes you appreciate having food and water. And I got ice and filled up my cooler with meat and dairy, and bought those 2 sandwiches from that nice woman, Driver's Grocery, if you want to look it up. Really nice black couple. The guy gave me the scoop on catching the catfish. Here's a little pro tip for you. Shanty boat captain pro tip. This is like an old army duffel bag. It's actually one of the better quality ones. You can get kind of cheap ones too, but bring one of these along, because I just hoofed about 100 pounds worth of groceries about a half a mile from where he dropped me off. So you want to have something, just kind of bring everything all at once. That's my 2 cents. So yeah, I'm going to hang out here, I think, for a little bit and go take a few pictures of the town, and then I will leave in the morning. So catch you guys later. Remember that segment on, was it Sesame Street? One of these things is not like the other. We have President Trump visiting tonight.